Hello, and welcome back to the Piping Pastor Vacation Edition. So, taking a bit of time out this afternoon to go out to my local driving range. I'd initially planned to go play 9 holes, but the weather's not really cooperating, so I thought rather than wasting all that money on 9 holes I can't finish, I'll go to the driving range and hit a bucket of balls or so. Um, for that, I'm enjoying some Revelation match in my Whitlock Ebony pipe, and because I'm uh, essentially traveling, I'm on the road, I was able to make use of my Whitlock travel kit to pack all of my pipe accessories and so forth in, and got myself set up over here at the driving range near where I live. And I got the driving range to myself. So I thought, well, why not do a little video? You know, I was thinking recently about the topic of legacy. I was put in mind of this after watching a recent series of videos from the Pipe Ninja about a hunting trip he took with his son. And I think that's something that's largely missing in specifically in Western culture, not hunting in particular, but that idea of pouring into the next generation, of that generational nod, of building a legacy through relationships, sharing of traditions, whatever that is, whether it's hunting or macrame or painting or whatever it happens to be. Taking the time out to really pour into those around you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have children to leave a legacy and you have to have your own kids to pour into and so on and so forth. You can be a lifelong bachelor or a single person. You can be married and choose never to have kids and still build a legacy by pouring into those around you. By those times to give that generational nod, that rite of passage. It's something we do for our daughters when they turn 13. It's kind of a Protestant Christian version of a bat mitzvah. We have a little ceremony, a little a series of events that we go through, and it's a rite of passage that enables them to take a next step into the next phase of their life. And those types of things, those are the things that really build a legacy. No one ever builds a monument for themselves. At least they shouldn't. You get a bunch of money together, you shouldn't build a statue to yourself in the town square. Leave that to others after you leave. The true legacies, what really lasts, are the relationships, the things that we do with and for other people. It is the way that we share knowledge, it is the way that we share traditions, and it is those rites of passage that people look back on with fondness and remembrance, and it gives them a sense of accomplishment. I think one of the difficult things in the world today is that people are never really quite sure when they're an adult. When that transfer actually happens. They have that whole phrase that came out several years ago called adulting, which is, I guess, making adult type decisions, doing adult type things. And it was simple things like making a dentist appointment, making your own dinner and doing the dishes afterwards. These basic types of tasks. But that's the thing, is they were very task oriented. It was very much a checklist of things to get done. It wasn't about what being an adult really is. Because these people, in large part, don't have those rites of passage, don't have those ceremonies, don't get those generational nods from the generation that comes before. I mentioned before, I've had the opportunity to spend some time studying and researching and doing ministry in other countries. Specifically across Europe and Asia. And that's something that's done very well in a lot of those cultures. You have generations of people living together, and the older generation pours into the younger generation. They're given those rites of passage, they're given those traditions, they're given those opportunities to learn from those that come before them. So if you're in an opportunity to teach, then take that chance, right? Take that opportunity. Don't waste it, right? And as I mentioned initially, what put me in mind of this was that video from the Pipe Ninja. He spent quite a bit of time, taking his son on that hunting trip. And I think they drove the whole way from his home into Arizona, and there's some videos of them enjoying nature, of them enjoying the simple pleasures of having a meal together. all these things that we may not think of as having a great deal of importance, point of fact, really do. Spending time with other people, spending time with those we love, spending time with those we care about, walking the way before them and letting them see us walk that way. You know, when bears go through the woods, you know, they walk in the paths of those before them. There's an entire section about that, and I think an entire book by Eldridge that speaks to that. But the thing is, people go before to force the path. It makes it easier for those that come after. But there's a practice in that. There's a right in that. There's a movement in that, right? So take the time and opportunity to do that. You know, in the Old Testament, we read about the Israelites, and after traveling through the desert and fighting and getting through all the various difficulty things that they had to do, and they finally make it into the Promised Land, the very next generation that is raised up begins to wander away from God. They begin to worship the gods of those around them, and that's because they didn't get the stories. They didn't get that generational nod from those that came before them. And so they walked away from God. And as a result, there's tragedy after tragedy after tragedy because the generation before did not take time to pour into those that came after. So, in any case, that was just on my mind today as I was thinking about that video from Pipe Ninja. So, and I'll put a link to his channel underneath in the description if you haven't checked it out yet. He's got some knowledge there as well. So pull from as many people as you can. And if you're in a position to teach, then by all means teach. Pour into those after. And for those of you who are in a position to learn, which is all of us, seek out mentors. Seek out those who can give you that generational nod and ask them, hey, would you pour into my life? If I give you permission to speak into my life, would you pass on some of that information to me so that I can learn and grow and become a better person as well? Because at the end of the day, we can all learn from each other. But if you have a bit of experience, if you're a bit long in the tooth, if you're a gentle person of a certain age, then don't just get so caught up in the day-to-day task of your living your life that you forget about your true legacy. Pour to those around you and then let them build their statues. Well, that is it for this time. I am now going to return my attention to this lovely pipe and some golf balls, which I'm sure I will be shanking to the left and right for at least the next 30 or 40 minutes. And then I'm going to enjoy the rest of my holiday. So have a lovely week, and as always, happy reading.